Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Franklin Township Board of Education meeting. Today is Thursday, September 25th, 2025. The time is 6:32 p.m. Brian, can we have roll call?
Mr. DeMaglio.
Here.
Mr. Grippo.
Here.
Dr. Hopkins.
Here.
Miss Inocencio. Mr. Jackson.
Here.
Miss LaCourte.
Here.
Miss Maris. Mr. Parker. Miss Singh. You have a quorum.
All right. Also, Brian, can you do the public meeting act statement for me?
In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, Sunshine Law, copies of the public meeting notice were sent to the Courier News, the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, the Franklin Reporter, Tap into Franklin Township Clerk, Manager, District Schools, Offices and Associations, PTO Presidents, and posted on the district website.
All right. Can I have a motion to move into confidential session?
So moved.
Moved by Nancy,
Second.
Second by Walker.
or seconded by Walter. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion to adjourn to the confidential session for the purposes of discussing confidential matters, including special education, settlements, and personnel matters. Minutes of the confidential session would be made public when the reason for confidentiality no longer exists. We'll see you folks later. All right, folks, the time is 7:30. We are still September 25th, 2025. We are back from confidential session. The purpose of discussing confidential matters includes special educational settlements and personnel matters. Minutes of the confidential session will be made public when the reason for confidentiality no longer exists. All right. Yeah. Say again. He did that. All right. You have your hand up, Erica? Okay. Erica, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance since you had your hand up. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Bill, let's do the mission statement.
Yes, sir. Let's see if I can get this thing to work first.
Oh, it's working. So, the mission of the Franklin Township Public School embraces its diversity, fosters excellent educational innovation, and empowers all students to achieve their highest potential.
All right. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
So moved by Nancy.
Seconded.
It was a tie, I guess. Let's go with Jimmy. Seconded by Jimmy. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We have the student report by Haiti.
So hello, like already mentioned, my name is Haiti and I'm one of your student government BOE liaisons. Here are some things going on at FHS. So currently the senior class is getting ready for early events of the year, including their homecoming on October 18th. Franklin High School Model UN will be hosting their FHS Model UN conference in conjunction with Rutgers IDIA on October 18th, 2025. Freshmen will be electing representatives for their class council after Club Rush at the end of September. In late July and early August, JCLers went to nationals at Miami University in Ohio, where we spent a week exploring the classical world. Here are some of the people with achievements from that event. So we have Soren Decker, who's a rising senior. He got first in digital scrapbook, second in chess, and 15th in shot put. Emma Kozobel, rising senior, 10th in English oratory, first in sculpture. Emma ran our fellowship meetings for the state every night and also ran for national office. However, unfortunately, she didn't win national office but put forth an amazing campaign. Coral Lowry, Rising Senior, 6th in slogan, 1st in digital scrapbook. We have Ella Popwell, Rising Junior, 4th in digital art, and many more accomplishments to be very proud of. Finally on the calendar, Club Rush will be running on September 30th and October 1st, with clubs looking to attract new members.
Thank you for that report. Excellent. All right, let's move on to the superintendent report.
Sure, thank you. Sorry. Sure, thank you. First start of the school year, I want to take an opportunity to thank the many who were involved in getting our schools up and running for day one for the 2025-2026 school year, which obviously occurred earlier this month. The start was smooth with the exception of the usual transportation challenges. We move a lot of kids, and sometimes that brings about its challenges. At this point, we believe we have a solution to most, if not all, of our transportation issues. I can tell by the all clear, which is now coming just about normal time, that we're running about as efficient and normal as always. So that's a good thing. With regard to faculty and staff, all reports thus far have been positive, and students and staff alike seem to be happy to get the new year rolling. Our back to school nights, with the exception of Franklin High School, which is happening tonight, by the way, have all been completed. And I hope our families found the evenings both useful and informative. We look forward to continuing our efforts to strengthen the school and family partnership as the year progresses. There'll be lots of opportunities for our families and our school students, as well as faculty, to come together for the benefit of our kids. CUSAC monitoring. We are scheduled for the New Jersey Department of Education monitoring, often referred to as CUSAC, and that'll occur this year. We're what's called a Cohort 1 district. There are 3 different cohorts, and every year the state travels around to the different cohorts across the state and does their monitoring. We're currently in the self-study phase of monitoring. We'll be working over the next several months to complete the district performance review documents in each of the 5 areas that are monitored by the State Department in preparation for a late January visit by the State Department of Education monitors. The areas being monitored are instruction and program, fiscal management, governance, operation, and personnel. Operations and personnel. Those are the 5 areas that the state will look at, and what they'll be looking at is compliance to the state board regulations. We look forward to working with the county office, who will be our monitors, and the state as they work through this labor-intensive but yet important process. And I want to take an opportunity to thank Dr. Dan, who leads our charge in this area, along with many who are on the committee as we go through the self-evaluation and then later the validation of the self-study. So thanks, Dr. Dan, and everyone else who's involved. And that's it for us. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Rivali. Now to the board president report. I would like to ask for a moment of silence while we remember 2 recent Warrior alumni who was tragically killed recently. First, Jonathan Martinez, who graduated from our Road to Success program in 2023 and was killed in an auto accident in mid-August. And Vincent Villaruli, class of 2021, who died in a motorcycle accident earlier this month. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family and friends of these fallen warriors. Let's have that moment. Thank you. Staff news. Congratulations to technology coach Ted Samaras on the release of the children's book he wrote and published called I'll Visit Space From Here. As one of his co-workers shared, Ted's creativity and passion for inspiring kids shines through on every page. Student news. Congratulations to FHS senior and motocross driver Shannon Schwartz, who was named Student MVP for the month of August by NBC New York News. Finally, as you can see behind me, we have begun to build the Warrior Pride Wall with banners for some of the schools and district accomplishments we have recently shared. That completes the president report. Motion to open for comments from the public, 5 minutes per speaker, agenda items only.
So moved.
So
Second.
moved by Erica and seconded by Nancy. Once again, 5 minutes, only agenda items only.
Good evening. The opening mission statement, I think you failed the students from the Franklin Township because the data that we have to exceed the mission to make sure the students are excelling, they're not excelling. First of all, Franklin Township only rates 7,001 out of the 24,000 high schools in the total country.
Did you
Also,
state
they
your
only
name? Did you
rated-
state your name, sir?
My name is Martin Zeptar.
Your address?
I'm 728 New Brunswick Road,
Okay,
Somerset,
thank
New
you.
Jersey.
Yeah, the name has to be stated first.
Okay, sorry about that.
No
I
problem.
didn't know the routine. Anyway, continue on. Franklin Township, Franklin High only ranks 228 out of all New Jersey high schools, which puts it in the lower, less than 50% of the problem of the public schools in New Jersey. So therefore, your mission statement is failing the students of this county. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Seeing no one else, Mr. President, I move to close the public session.
Second.
So moved by Bill and seconded by Nick. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay.
I don't see where, Mr. President,
Yes.
I don't see where the gentleman who just spoke, but maybe you could clarify where that comes into the agenda items only? Is that because the mission statement's on a piece of paper? It's not an agenda item to talk about our test scores tonight, is it? Dan, are we doing anything on test scores tonight?
Well, we let the gentleman have the mic based on the, I guess, the curriculum.
You read it at the start of the
is
meeting.
on it. So,
So it's part of the meeting?
well, he made his statement, Bill.
Oh. Very good.
Let's move on.
I mean, I don't get it. I was going to make a motion to strike the comments from the public record. Because it's not on the agenda. So, the gentleman speaking about our test scores, saying that we're low, there's no item on the agenda about that. Now, he could come back afterwards when it's open to anything, then it's fine.
Well,
That's up to you guys.
I guess you put it into a motion then, Bill.
Yeah, I put a motion to strike what the gentleman said and invite him back at the end of the meeting.
Anybody
Seconded.
want to second that?
Seconded.
Or
Seconded.
okay, so it has been moved in second. So for the record, the gentleman that has spoke for agenda item only is welcome to come back during the topic for any to talk to us for any topic only. But we encourage you to come back at that time, which will be later on in the agenda. So that has been
We have a motion.
oh yeah, I'm sorry. So it has been moved by Bill, seconded by Jimmy. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All right, let's do a roll call, Brian, on this matter.
Mr. DeMaglio?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes. Dr. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Inocencio.
Yes.
Ms. Jackson, Mr. Jackson, excuse me.
Yes.
Ms. LaCourt?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, so move. All right, let's go to, so once again, I think the motion was on the floor to close the session altogether right now? Okay. Let's go to the committee's reports. Now, the committee report is on the website, and unless anybody have any questions or want to share something that they feel though that is important to the board that they want to share or share out loud with the public that is something special within the reports, everybody could read it on the website. Erica, you have any questions on any of these reports?
Dennis, are you going in the order here?
Yes, I am.
I'm sorry.
Jimmy?
Yeah, just one question for the policy committee. There's going to be a discussion, I guess, of acceptable use of AI. Is that going to come in the next couple of months, or do we have an idea of what we're going to use or allow the children to use?
Who's the chair for that? That's you? For policy?
That's me.
Okay, yes. Repeat for the policy chair.
It's Bill.
Bill.
I'm policy chair, but what policy are you talking about? I want you to.
There's an upcoming policy with the use of AI, and I think in the report it's that you guys are going to come back in a couple of weeks. Do we have any idea yet what we're going to think about using or what we're going to allow to be used?
Yeah, sure. Actually, if you go online right now, and our parents can do the same, so can our students, and our faculty is already working with that. There are guidelines for use of AI that are online. A lot of what will be contained in the policy will reference some of the guidelines, and I want to credit Dr. Arsawala, or Dr. Amy, as I like to call her. She is the Director of Instructional Technology who's worked very hard and actually will be presenting, if you're so interested, she'll be presenting at the October or September? Arteman's not here. Is it?
Yeah, I want to hear about it.
October. The October New Jersey School Boards Association meeting on how to manage AI in your school district. So she's doing a tremendous job. We are working with the policy committee to formalize the policy, but in the interim, of course, it's out there and it's moving. So we did create temporary guidelines in order to at least provide faculty, students, and parents alike with guidance, and I encourage you to check it out.
I will, and that's one of the reasons why that you put that out there.
That's all, Jimmy.
That's it. Thank you.
All right, Bill, you up.
Mr. President, you mentioned earlier in the evening that you were impressed with some facilities improvements.
Yes,
I'd like to, if you could just, for the purpose of the public, recap some of your impressions.
Yeah, Walter, can you share some of the highlights in facilities?
Some of the highlights are Zoo Fall, of course. As everybody knows, we're getting pretty close to that being completed and have everything that we need to get that up and running. Ryan Ellis is our solar guru, and he does a great job. It'd actually be kind of great if he could actually come in one board meeting and actually go over his solar report. But he usually gets his solar report every month, or every month, and it's actually a great insight on the systems that we have, how they're being utilized, how we're actually regaining those assets and putting it back into the school district. Now we're just working on, there are some roofs that need to be repaired in some of our school districts, some of our schools. So now we're just looking at what we need to do in terms of getting the lease back again with these solar panels and, going from there. What else?
Mr. Jackson, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Is it possible to recommend to the superintendent to have Mr. Ellis come at the next meeting to give a report? I'd like the public to hear how much money this Board of Education is saving the taxpayers in solar panels. Most people don't even know about our solar panel initiative. So I know that we're saving, I know it. I don't need it for me. But I remember the incubation of these solar panels on our schools. When I was a principal, I think I tried to get one on McAfee. The roof was too small. I slept on the roof, but it was too small for solar panels. Anyway, can you take care of that, Mr. Jackson,
Yeah, I
to
think
have
that,
a presentation?
Yeah, like I
Is
just
that
mentioned.
okay, John?
Yeah, I think that'd be a great idea.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, he is doing a phenomenal job, Bill. Phenomenal. Anything else from you, Bill?
I think it's great. I mean, this is in Sioux Fall, and the things that are going on in this district are very impressive
Very
for our
impressive.
students.
Very impressive.
I mean, I went to a couple of events where the school's being used by so many people, outside groups, inside groups, athletics. They come from all over the state to use Franklin High School for a wrestling thing in the spring. Thousands of people. That's just incredible what we've done.
Yes.
So I will trumpet this for the rest of the year. Get ready. Okay. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right.
Pro Tem.
Nick, any questions or any thing you want to share within your committee, or any highlights or any questions within the other chairs?
Nothing with my committee, but I do have a question on the ad hoc for athletic. I'm
That's
just
Jimmy. Jimmy, can you hear him?
Yeah.
Erica.
I can hear him. It's
I'm
actually
sorry.
Erica.
I'm
So on the new,
Well,
the proposed job description, we have that the athletic director still reports to the principal. Was that going to stay the same, or was that up for discussion at some point?
Yeah, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was report to the superintendent and or designee along with the principal. There's no way to separate the athletic director from the principal, because the high school principal is responsible for all athletic programming according to NJSIA guidelines or bylaws at the high school. So, for example, if Dr. Solomon, our former principal of the high school, if he were still the principal and a kid participated illegally, it would be Dr. Solomon who ultimately would be responsible, not even the superintendent. So the high school principals in the state of New Jersey are the ones who are responsible for the high school program. So ultimately, the person who's running those programs, it would be hard to totally separate them from the responsibility of reporting to that person. So it's going to be a combination type of report, and that's the main reason why. We had lots of discussion about that. And as I had shared, in New Jersey, because the way the bylaws are written with regard to governing those programs, it becomes the principal who's responsible for when there are issues or, eligibility issues or whatever the case may be. So it makes it very difficult then for that person not to be directly involved, since they're working on their behalf.
Thank you. That makes sense. I just had heard we had the discussion, and then I didn't know how that got resolved. Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna stay on that topic though before I go to you, Walter. Now, with that said, just popped up in my head. So I guess with the new AD that will come on board, I guess the principal of the high school will have to get involved, or the AD itself would be just hire and join hips with the principal in answer to the superintendent, correct? Erica or John, you want to answer that?
Sure, only because I know the structure well, and it would be a combination of both, right? So there's district-wide programs, and our athletic director who is involved with athletics district-wide, and then we have some district-wide programs for students with special needs, our Challenger program type of programs. So those are programs that other folks are involved, but directly the high school programs, that would there'd need to be some oversight by the principal, because
Yeah.
ultimately the principal is responsible.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess my question is that when the AD comes on board, or during the interviewing and during that particular process, the principal itself, what would be their role in involvement and liking, disliking?
Yeah, they'll be part of the school committee.
Okay. That was my question. Walter,
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Nancy. All right. All right. Let's go on to new business.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to move R1 monthly reports, M1 minutes of board meetings, A1 travel and related expense reimbursement, A2 approved school connected organizations, A3 week of respect, which is October 6th through the 10th and extremely appropriate right now. A4 fire prevention week, October 5 to 11. School Violence Awareness Week, October 19 to 23. National Principals Month in October. A8 Self-Assessment, Harassment, Intimidation, and Bullying Grades. A9 Allow Independent Athlete to Complete. A10 Revised Policies, Second Reading and Adoption for Policy 2422 and Policy 6220. A1 New Policy, Second Reading and Adoption for Policy 5339. A12 Revised Policies, First Reading. I'm not going to read them all. A13 Revised Bylaws, First Reading for 173 and Bylaw 174. A14 Facilities Use. A15 New Jersey Stride Shared Service Agreement. A16 Special Education Settlements. A17 New Jersey 4S Memorandum of Understanding. A18 Charter School Expansion Application Comments and Recommendations. A19 25-26 Calendar Adjustment for Franklin High School only. B1 Warrants and Payrolls. B2 Financial Reports. B3 Contract Approval A through I. B4 Change Orders. B5 Cooperative Purchasing. B6 Non-Public School Nursing Services for school year 25-26. B7 revised extraordinary aid reimbursement. B8 school breakfast, lunch, and milk prices for 25-26 school year. C1 out of district school year or out of district students 25-26 school year. C2 field trip destinations, no destinations at this time. C3 field trip applications, which is the high school Model UN overnight trip and the high school science research club scheduled to go to North Branch in Bridgewater for American rocketry competition. C4 approve highly effective educator activities. C5 Seton Hall University student belonging study. P1 revised job descriptions, which is the athletic director. P2 workers' compensation. P3 personnel report number 3 dated today, and that's it.
All right, so we have a motion on the agenda for R1, M1, A1 through A19, B1 through B8, C1 through C4, P1 through P5. Any questions?
No questions.
What's C5?
Yeah, C1 to C5.
What was C5 at?
I just wanted to note, Mr. President, within this agenda, all the various schools, universities, jazz groups, neighboring schools using the services of our buildings, which is great. And so there's a lot of neighborhood activity plugging into our school system, making use of the facilities that we're proud of.
Okay. Let me make that correction though, Bill. We have the motion on the agenda for R1, M1, A1 through A19, B1 through B8, C1 through C5, P1 through P3. Any questions? I might ask each member. Erica, you have any questions on that? Jimmy?
No questions?
Any other questions, Bill?
No, not at all, just the one comment on the community outreach that we're demonstrating.
Okay.
No.
Nick?
No.
Walter?
No.
Nancy?
No.
Can I get a second then?
Seconded.
All right. Brian, can we get a roll call?
Mr. Demaglio,
Yes, except for B1 as it relates to Elizabeth Avenue School.
okay. Mr. Grippo,
Yes.
Ms. Inocencio,
Yes.
Mr. Jackson,
Yes.
Ms. LaCourt,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Dr. Hopkins.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Motion to move to comments for the public. Any topics, 5 minutes only. When you step to the mic, please state your name and your address.
So moved.
All right, so moved by Bill, seconded by Nancy. Nancy, all in favor? All right, it's open.
I'll sign it. Good evening. My name is Martin Zapitar. I live at 728 New Brunswick Road, Somerset, New Jersey, 08873. I just like to make a statement that the mission that you're trying to get the students to excel in the Franklin High Schools, the Franklin Township schools, at least in the high school, you're not doing the job. By their own data, in your quoted new best high schools of 2025, Franklin High School ranks 7,001 out of 24,000 schools in the entire country. That's not excelling anywhere. Also, Franklin High School doesn't even rank in the top 50% of New Jersey high schools from the same study. So therefore, I'd like to know how you're going to turn it around for their kids that are in the 8th or lower grades, so that by the time they graduate, they can succeed in their lifetime and go to college. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Seeing no one else.
Hold on, is
Oh, wait, we have a
someone's
lady
coming?
coming up. We have
Yeah.
somebody coming up.
Yes, yes,
Mr. President, we have another person coming up.
yes.
These folks can fill that out.
All right, good evening, members of the board. My name is Kalechi Njogo Madu. My address is 3110 Holland Drive. I'm a mother, Joseph Madu, a fourth grade student at Claremont Elementary with a diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder and sensory processing disorder. I'm here tonight to put on record a history of serious concerns regarding how my son's educational needs have been mishandled since he entered Franklin Public School at the age of 3. My son, again, is in 4th grade. He's 9 years old. I've retained both an attorney and an educational advocate who are supporting us, my family, in this matter. What I share tonight is based on my firsthand experience and years of documented correspondence with the district. Number one, there's been a denial of access to inclusive classrooms. From as early as 2016, I requested that Joseph be given an opportunity to interact with general education and more academically appropriate peers. His then social worker, Jennifer Chang, told me this would be not allowed because he might disrupt other students. Later, Ryan Green explicitly told me my son would not succeed in the least restrictive environment, which is the language and learning disability classroom. Yet my documented classroom observations show that Joseph consistently engaged in activities, was never disruptive, and was often the only verbal child in his classroom. Number two, COVID learning loss and denial of compensatory services. On June 30th, 2022, I met with then social worker Jennifer Chang and Ryan Green to discuss COVID-related compensatory services. I explained that Joseph had lost more than a year of in-person instruction, as well as critical services like speech therapy and occupational therapy. Virtual learning was completely inappropriate for his needs. I requested additional one-on-one support to help him catch up academically. Ryan Green told me that the only compensatory services available were extended school year, ESY. I made it clear ESY alone was insufficient and asked for a structured plan to close the academic gap. To this day, no plan has ever been put into place to address my son's loss of learning. Number three, there's been a lack of academic instruction. Until I retained an advocate this year, Joseph's IEP contained no academic goals. No reading, no writing, no math since kindergarten. My first-in-person observation after COVID revealed Joseph using a laptop, not for academic purposes or programs like iReady, but to watch YouTube, simple songs, nursery songs. This is not an education. This is neglect of my child's right for free, appropriate public education. Number four, mishandled child placement in the LD classroom. In 2024, after years of advocacy, Joseph was briefly, thank you. In 2024, after years of advocacy for my son, Joseph was briefly placed in the LD classroom. I had requested for one-on-one aid to support his transition. This request was ignored. Without support, Joseph struggled, and the district labeled him as aggressive. This label was unfair and inaccurate, given his 5 years without any documented destructive history. During my November 13 observation of Joseph, I observed him working independently on his tasks, already master tasks. He showed he was able to complete his tasks without any adult support. However, when he became bored, he resorted to stimming. Instead of redirecting my son or helping him manage his anxiety, I saw the classroom aide ignore him the entire time. My observation was documented and reported to the district.
Ma'am,
I'm going to wrap up.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to just scroll down to this, the most recent incident when I met with my son's current teacher. I discovered Joseph seated apart from his classmates at a separate desk with the sign reading, "Sit in chair, hands to self, quiet mouth." As a parent who has documented and observed the practices used by my son, Joseph, I must raise serious concern about the education appropriateness, ethical standards, and legal compliance of the behavior reminder and isolated desk arrangement used in his classroom. I was informed by his current teacher, Emily Kaiser, that the table was carried over from last year. The visual support used was discriminatory. It targeted only Joseph at his desk. Quiet mouth is dehumanizing, it's insensitive, and it's disrespectful. It stigmatizes his disability and silences his natural communication differences rather than encouraging alternative methods such as AAC, verbal appropriate approximation, or peer modeling. I'm just gonna, my final request to the board. Respectfully, I ask this board this evening to investigate and hold accountable those responsible for denying Joseph access to inclusive education. I require the district to provide compensatory services, including intensive one-on-one academic instruction and therapeutic support to make up for the years of lost services. And discriminatory practices like isolation and stigmatizing behavior signs, and ensure parents are treated as equal members of the IEP team. Joseph is a bright, verbal, and capable child, but for 6 years, Franklin Township failed to give him a fair shot. His story highlights systematic failures in special education that this board has admitted it has not been fully informed about. I stand here tonight to shine a light, not just for Joseph, but for every child whose voice has been silenced.
Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else?
Seeing no one else, I move to close the public session.
So moved by Bill, second by Nancy. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. John, you want to respond to any of this?
Sure. Dr. Logren, if you could just copy that name and we'll make sure we reach out, and we'll get our Director of Pupil Personnel Services to be sure to reach out. With regard to the first comments, I certainly make no excuses, and we realize there are varying opinions on what people consider to be a successful school district. We do emphasize growth, and we seem to be making some headway on growth. And we'll continue to do that. There are also measurements like student engagement, success of our students post-graduation, and we've had some phenomenal students who have gone on to do some remarkable things. Tony Award-winning dancers, we had singers, dancers, we've had pilots. We had some of those folks here more recently. Skills in leadership and empathy. I would put our kids against, and in fact we do in lots of our clubs where we're off competing, Model UN and some of the others, we get a lot of very positive comments made about our students and their leadership ability and their empathy, as you heard from our student representative tonight, not only well-spoken, but can articulate very well. And then of course, as Mr. Grippo mentioned, and so have so many other board members, our connections with the community and our partnerships and all that our students do outside the walls of the school make a difference too. And I know sometimes it's easier to just lean in on test scores and say that really is what measures the success of a school, but it's part of the formula, no question. And do we need to make some headway there? For sure. But we do have significantly higher challenges than most other places too, and a lot of the places that you mentioned. We have a higher rate of students with special needs that attend our schools. We have higher rates of students with socioeconomic challenges. We have an over 40% free and reduced lunch population. And research will tell you, certainly not Dr. Ravalli, but you can read the research and the literature, and it'll tell you that a student who falls below that poverty line is much harder to educate than a student who is above that poverty line. And there are folks that have dedicated their life onto help making that needle move. And we do some of that, and we're working hard. But we also have to meet some of the basic needs of our students. Some of our students don't get the quality care that lots of other students get. They don't get fed regularly. like some of ours. That's not because our parents aren't able or don't want to do it, but in some circumstances there might not be that ability. English as a second language, we have a higher population than most. We are above the average. And again, for some of our students, it's the first time that they're in the country. And, months later, we're slapping a test in front of them. So there are lots of things that high rates of bilingual students where English isn't even spoken at home. So we're extremely proud of our kids. I just want to put that out there. And I would put many of our kids up against whomever. And I'm sure you would be proud as a community member. I'm proud of our faculty. They come to work. They work hard every day. And a lot of them are reaching into their pocket to make sure that students have their next meal. A lot of them are making communication home to translate for the parents of these students so that the parents can become involved. Again, the challenges here and the challenges within our community are different. And every school district is different. I'm not saying that other school districts don't have some of those same challenges, but I can tell you this, where I believe by demographic study, I believe you're going to find, not to be quoted, because I'm not 100% positive of this, but we're the second most diverse school district in the state.
That's actually true. That's correct.
Thank you, Erica.
Jersey State.
And it's probably you told me that.
Because it's something I'm quite proud of.
But we are, and that comes with challenges. And I'm not saying that we should ignore test scores, because we shouldn't. We should use those test scores to inform instruction. And we do. And we do. And we'll continue to do that. And because of that, we've built this wall. Because a few years back, we couldn't have put much on that wall. But right now, there's a couple banners on that wall. And are we proud that we're in the top 40% of best high schools in New Jersey? Absolutely. Do we want to be number one? For sure. Can we be? Yes. I'm not saying that these things should be excuses, because they shouldn't be. But like any good team, any good organization, it takes time. And the harder and the higher your hurdles, the more time it takes. So I would be remiss if I didn't speak to that. And I hope, and again, we're not always going to agree, because some people boil it down, and they boil it right down to that test. I'm just saying we've got to think about, and I'm just asking you to think about some of the other things. Don't be hyper-focused on just one measurement of success, because there are plenty of others, and our kids do very well meeting some of those others. So that's really all I have to say, but I'll end with this part as we speak to that. That's not to say, and this is probably about the third time I said it, that's not to say that we can't continue to try and do better. And we can't continue to try and meet those standards. And we will. And we'll continue to push growth, because the only way you're going to get to meet those standards is by continually pushing growth. So the needle's moving. May not be moving fast enough for some of us, me included. Everybody, I'm probably the most impatient guy. But the challenges are bigger. So please be patient, keep working with us, and we'll get there. That's it for me.
Thank you, Dr. Rivalli. Now we're going to move to the good of the order. Erica, what you got good?
Good evening. Just basically wanted to welcome all our students and staff back for a new year. I wanted to, again, I know it's been said, thank all the people involved in getting our schools ready to open to our students this year, and just wanted to wish our students and staff a wonderful school year. That's all I have to say.
Jimmy?
Just wanted to send a huge shout out to the teachers. I've heard tremendous things, specifically concerning their care and preparation for the kids in the new year. And I'm looking forward to a really great year all around.
Bill?
So sit back and relax, folks. First of all, this gentleman who spoke, I want to thank you and congratulate you for having the courage to get up. We're in America. You have a right to say whatever you want. Two things I want to talk about. And then I'll talk about my kids. The other night, Dr. Solomon, this is for you to take back to Nikki Tatum. The other night I was at the gazebo for an 80s concert. And, you know, whenever I go there, there's a lot of people I know, and I'm walking around talking to people. And I was standing there listening to the music. And this gentleman comes up from behind me. And he says, "Are you Mr. Grippo?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I want to thank you." I said, "Who are you?" I said, "Well, what do you want to thank me for?" He said, "Well, I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for you and your program." I said, "What program?" He said, "Well, over 30 years ago, maybe 40 years ago, I was a complete high school failure. I was ready for the end. I was the worst. Family life, student, they wanted to get me out of the school. And then I found the adult school program and a diploma that you signed. Your signature is on this diploma, Mr. Grippo." I said, "Really?" He said, "I don't want to brag or anything." So then Councilman Vassanella comes up to me and stands next to me, Jim Vassanella. You can't stop him from talking, by the way. And he stands next to me and he says, "Bill, you will not believe this gentleman." I said, what are you talking about?" He said, the gentleman now says, "Mr. Grippo, I'm a doctor of physics, chemistry. I'm published 7 times. I've authored a book. I'm a professor." I'm standing there with my mouth open. And he sighed. He pointed to me and he said, "You signed my diploma when I was nothing." I mean, I had goosebumps that night. I didn't even ask him his name. He told me his father's name was Zoltan. I could get this. Well, the reason I'm telling you this, Nick, is he would be a great speaker for Nikki. And we could get his name from Jimmy Vassanella. He was so grateful to the Franklin Township Public Schools for saving his life. That's the way he put it. He said to me, "I want you to know I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you." Quote. I said, "I didn't do anything. I signed the diploma." But we had heroes like Doris Stevens, Marilyn Peluso. These are people who worked with these kids. You know who they are, Nick. And worked with these kids day in and day out where other people kicked them out. So I wanted to tell you that story. The other thing, and I really want to commend, not that Dr. Ravalli isn't a cheerleader, but tonight I really heard him in his best form, talking about our school system. And here I go again. I got 5 kids. Every one of them are a 6-figure super success. And if you ask any one of them, "Why are you so successful?" I'm talking business leaders. I'm talking the United States government, a particular Department of Justice. I don't have to go into details on that. I'm talking about owning businesses. If you ask any one of them, why are you successful, they're going to say two things. One is the diversity in Franklin Township public schools, the very diversity that causes the test scores not to be as high as they are because some people have different economic levels, but because I was able to mix with so many different people. My son would never be a top U.S. attorney if it wasn't for this school system. If you ask my son Daniel, who's a top Amazon engineer, retired military, what was he, Dennis, naval commander, whatever, captain, whatever he was, 23 years in the Navy, started as a nuclear engineer. If you say to him, Danny, what turned you around? He would say, Mr. Henry Terrell. You don't even know who that name is. Do you remember, Helene? Terrell? Did you know him, Nick? Terrell? Best physics teacher in his state. Changed my son's life. And you think I'm going to sit here and listen to people say about test scores? I'm going to miss being on the Board of Ed because I love just talking about the great things that happen in our school. My daughter, Mariah, I can't even get into the success she has become. Not because of the bracelet business, but because of her personality to work with people from Taylor Swift to kids in high school wearing bracelets. And a multi-million-dollar business in 10 years. This is all because of Franklin schools. And of course, we as parents made sure they studied. That's the other half that Dr. Ravalli alluded to tonight when he said some kids don't have the support at home. So, and there are people in the audience, I see right here, I said a lot of people, Helene, whose kids are very successful because of this school district. So I'll never, I wear a T-shirt, Warrior for Life, and Nancy LaCourte's the same way. Even though we don't agree on everything, the one thing is we're both warriors for life. True. That's true. Right, Nancy? Say yes. I mean, so you could fill this audience with people who could sit here and criticize. I take every one of them on. You could fill this with people who criticize test scores. It's not the test scores. It's the teacher who enlightens the student. My son Nick, when he was in high school, this is the top attorney now in Washington, D.C., he was doing rap music in high school. He wanted to be a rapper. He didn't care about studying. Then he met a teacher who he fell in love with reading and wanted to become a lawyer. And the last story I'll tell you about is my son Billy. He went to Franklin High School, got in more trouble than any. Donna Burnett was a principal. She called me up once, and Sam Hooper, Sam Hooper, Nick, he said, Mr. Grippo, your kid's causing trouble. I said, what are you calling me for? Give him detention, suspend him. So, you're Bill Grippo, you're a principal. I said, I don't care what I am. You do what you have to do. My son Billy got in so much trouble, smoking in the boys' room, that was a song. He fell in love with tropical fish. Went to Rutgers University for marine biology. Today he owns a fish factory as big as this room and designs and installs aquariums for the rich and famous in Boca Raton, right on the ocean. And the other day he called me that I'm done. He said, Dad, today I performed my first surgery. I said, what? He said, yeah, I was working for one of the aquariums in the city of Boca where they have these big fish. I forget the name of them. Oh. The fish had something stuck in its mouth. It got caught a wire or something. And it was going to die. And Billy never did surgery. And he called a local vet from another town who specializes, and the vet guided him through oral surgery on the phone to save the fish's life.
He could have called me.
This is amazing stuff from Franklin Township Public Schools. So when people out there say, and I hope this is recorded, oh, the test scores, oh, the kids are failing, how come we're not as high as Princeton? That's all nonsense. Show me what they do with their life. What kind of citizens are your students going to be?
Point well taken.
That's what we get in Franklin. Amen.
Nick.
Okay, so I won't be as theatrical.
Your kids are super successful. Are you kidding?
So I want to wish all the students a successful year. I actually, on the day that school opened, got an opportunity to see some of the schools, and I was over at the high school. I was very impressed with the uniforms that the football coach has the football players wearing throughout the school during the week. And then I understand that they wear a button-down shirt on the day of the games. They look really nice, and very good idea. I was very impressed with that. We have the clothing drive for Project Graduation coming up on October 11th, starting at 8 a.m. over at Sampson G. Smith School. And for those that wish to attend the memorial service for Vincent Valuri, that family was a McAfee School family. It is tomorrow morning at 9:30 over Princeton Alliance Church in Plainsboro. That is all I have.
Walter.
No, cool. Definitely not coming after Bill Grippo. So the only thing I'm going to say tonight is continue to be Franklin strong. Thank you.
Nancy.
So John, to what you were talking about, I actually was wondering what makes Franklin great, and I love AI. So I did my fact checking, and I have a ton of information on why Franklin is great, why we're a unique district compared to other districts, how we compare to charters, the difference in reporting, and just a whole bunch of different things. So just, you go down that rabbit hole and just keep getting all that information. So I have all that, should you want to read it. But I know that you know it, and I know that everybody sitting here knows it. So I wrote something, so bear with me. So as my term on the board comes to a close and a milestone birthday approaches, I've been reflecting not just on policy, but on legacy, on how we show up for our students, our staff, and each other. I've served on this board for almost 19 years, and I can't remember a time in my adult life when I wasn't volunteering or trying to make the world a better place. I had my hand raised since I came out of the womb. I've seen the us and them thinking can start at the board level and trickle down into classrooms before it reaches the kids. Our students can't learn if they see adults dismissing or hating one another. We live in one of the most diverse communities in New Jersey, and we're proud of that, but diversity alone isn't enough. We have to talk to each other, not just assume we'll argue. That's why I believe so deeply in culturally responsive learning and social emotional learning. These students understand one another, regulate emotions, and build relationships across differences. They prepare students for a world filled with challenges like misinformation and violence, but also collaboration, opportunity, and joy. And that brings me to something fundamental and very much in the news lately, the First Amendment. The very freedom protected in our Constitution is the freedom of speech. That's not just symbolic, it's a reminder that our words matter, that speaking up, listening, and seeking truth are essential to democracy and to education. Before spreading gossip or misinformation, fact check it. I use Snopes, ChatGPT, factcheck.org, PolitiFact, Reuters, and the Associated Press, sources that are committed to accuracy. Our curriculum includes digital citizenship, starting in elementary school, teaching our students to evaluate information critically. All 10 schools in our district have achieved Sustainable Jersey for Schools certification, with several earning silver level recognition. That reflects on our commitment to be responsible, informed citizenship online and in real life. Oh, I blew this up. I also want to recognize our staff. While no organization is perfect, the vast majority work relentlessly, often behind the scenes, to support our student success. I want to take a moment to acknowledge recent hardships in our community. We lost Walter Jackson Sr., the father of my colleague Walter Jackson, just last month. Our board president, Ardman Singh, is not with us tonight because her father suffered a major health issue in India. And tomorrow we lay to rest Joseph Valori, a former student whose life was just beginning. He just graduated college, full of promise and potential. Those moments remind us that compassion and empathy are not just values we teach, they're values we live. Honoring life, showing up for one another, and holding space for grief are part of how we build a caring, resilient school community. Let me share a personal story. I'm turning it to Bill here. My husband, a friend, and I were talking. He assumed he wouldn't agree with him and didn't want to share. He finally gave in, proof that nagging can be a civic virtue. But we didn't agree with everything, but we understood some of his points. Sometimes listening first actually works. Who knew? As Mr. Rogers said, when we listen, we learn. And when we learn, we can better understand one another. That's the lesson we want our students to learn. To listen before assuming, to seek understanding even when you disagree, to honor every voice, to seek truth, and just maybe to share a smile along the way. As I step away from this role and into the next chapter, I carry these lessons with me, and I hope our students do too. In the spirit of digital citizenship, I used AI to help refine this speech. The thoughts and values are mine, but I believe in modeling how we can use technology thoughtfully and creatively. It helps me organize my thoughts and my Christmas list. It's easy to criticize from the sidelines, but it's harder to show up, listen, and lead with integrity, especially when no one's watching. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you, Nancy. Leaves me. Number one, going back to the liaison report, I'd be remiss to. I want to thank one of the liaisons that I'm part of is the Chamber of Commerce, and we have the president at the end of the table, and they are doing wonderful things. One thing to look out for, like every year, is the scholarship that they are promoting in the district for the high schoolers and others within the district too, the other schools. One of the things that I might have to, I'm not going to be long, but to piggyback on Dr. Rivalli and Mr. Griffel and some of the things that Nancy have spoken also, that when I moved my daughter into the district itself, one of the reasons, because we had other options. As a matter of fact, I talked to one of the main reasons was Walter Jackson and his family, and we had options. And Walter and others sat down with me and was expressing what the district had to offer. And I was weighing it out, and then I looked at the real world. What type of world do we live in? And we live for. I'm a firm believer of education itself is just not academia. It's more so, or how can you adapt into the community itself and function outside your community into the real world. So that was one of the reasons why my daughter came into the district itself. And once we got here, wow, it was a wow factor. One thing that, since I've been a board member, that I always tap the mic and always share with those is the resources that the district have to offer. from your APs, from your ROTC, from your trades. It's phenomenal of all those different students going in different avenues, sharing the same building, sharing the same experience. And every year I challenge each class, 2026, you are up, that you look at the graduating class from those who are going the academia route versus the other schools surrounding us. And then when they move on, my daughter was in the class of 2022. And the places that the schools that they went to and how they are matriculating, it is phenomenal. And like I said, I could go on and share what my own daughter is doing, but I'm not. Looking at the ROTC program that is going on within the district, Road to Success, the trades that is coming on board. And yes, I think the two folks that came up to the mic, because we need to hear it. You know, we need to hear from all spectrums, in a sense, and that's how we become stronger as a district. We need to hear it. We need to hear what those feel those that we are, our shortcomings are, but we are able to explain our shortcomings in the sense that based on our diversity, you know, just with the test scores, with, you know, one thing that we share, or one of the things we are proud of, is being a district that gravitates folks that have special need students, and how compassionate we are to receive them and make sure that we try our best to educate them and prepare them to be better citizens. But hopefully I wasn't as long as Bill, but I'm gonna end. But that's my good, the order. And like I said, welcome back to the 2020, well, the class of 2026 is up. And we off and running, and let's have a good, successful, safe year. Can I have a motion to end the meeting? So moved by Nancy, second by Erica. So moved and second by Erica. All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn.